for me, like 2 times a day is my ideal. Yeah. And anything on top of that or extra drilling sessions or extra S&C is good, but I try and just tick the 2 times a day box.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what I sort of need. I need a lot of repetition to improve. So, yeah, I try and aim for 2 times a day, Monday through Friday and then 1 session on Saturday. And that makes me feel good.
And the strength and conditioning side, the S&C, that's done with Steve Lester.
Yeah, I was working with him before Worlds and I really enjoyed working with him.
How did you come across him?
I don't really know. I think I was just looking for someone, close by so I could get there easily in between training.
That's a big deal. Yep.
Yeah, and then I really liked his style of training. I sort of just felt like I needed someone to push me to get a little bit stronger. And I just saw him working with I think he was working with like runners and footy athletes and just a lot of athletes. And so I sort of felt like I needed someone that did that kind of thing that would focus on performance with me. So, yeah, and I really enjoyed working with him.
What sort of stuff was he doing? Weights, recovery, nutrition?
He was just helping me with S&C, but we were focusing a lot on, I guess, posture and sort of correcting some imbalances, squats, like just big compound movements. We're working on like pull-ups, stuff like that, just all of those, sort of key big compound movements. But we were also sort of, doing some work to correct my posture and my imbalances and like say the tracking of my knees and all of those kind of somewhat boring things that you need to tick, So I thought, it was really good. I really enjoyed working with him, but I definitely will be going back once
we can.
June 22nd. Woo woo. No one's counting the days.
No, not at all. We've got a countdown timer at the back, but no one's counting down.
No one's counting.
So we're with Steve and Hoshi.
Yeah.
Do they talk about how your training was going? So Hoshi's the head coach, structuring everything.
Yeah.
Did Steve have any input on where things would go? Would strength and conditioning go before a jits session, knowing you do it 2 a day?
Yeah. So because it was jiu-jitsu, so Tingy does all my jiu-jitsu. So when I was training with Steve, it was just jiu-jitsu. So Hoshi, I just kind of fitted in the S&C where I felt like it would work with my body. Before then, when it was MMA and I did S&C, Hoshi would work with, I worked with JT for a little while. He does Bulletproof for BJJ. He's really awesome. He's definitely one to check out. Yeah. Really, really good. So before MMA fights, Hoshi would, always work in with what my S&C was, or I've worked with other coaches, and he would make sure that it was just kind of fitted in right so that when I needed to spar hard, I wasn't really wasn't flat, so that I could make sure like those key sparring sessions in my camp were really good, which I think is really important. And I find I do all my S&C before my jiu-jitsu sessions because it feels truly awful to do it after. Like, because you don't really think you're training that hard when you do jiu-jitsu because you're like, this is so fun, or you're trying to get a choke or you're trying to get an arm bar, so you're really focused on what you want, and you're doing a sport, so you sort of don't know that you're really exerting yourself, and then you try and, I don't know, do a squat and you're like, oh my gosh.
I can't. I'll just do body weight.
Yeah, it's really bad. So from that, whenever anyone tries to schedule it in after, I'm like, I don't know. I can't guarantee it's going to be a very good workout. I really can't. So now I try and do it before, like on a Friday before, like a Friday session. I don't mind doing it even an hour before if that's, what my schedule sort of is a little bit. The further apart they are, I think the better it is for me. Like if I can do my S&C in the morning and then a lunchtime class and then a nighttime class, when everything's had a break, it's like my body can just regroup in between. But I definitely trust when it's MMA, like Hoshi would oversee the whole camp, and I just sort of go with whatever the plan is. And then for jiu-jitsu, because I'm planning it myself, I'm just like, definitely put that, that strength session way before jiu-jitsu if I can. Yeah. What about you? When do you do I'm so curious, when do you fit your strength training in?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Not very much.
Maybe a better question, what's your ideal then?
The ideal, if I'm working at the office, so I've got a desk job as a day-to-day, Monday to Friday.
Yep.
I really struggle with the mornings with the kids. Yep. I tried that for a while and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. And then you finish work at 5, pick up kids, go to jits and that's, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's
Yep.
going, you know what? I know I need to do some strength stuff. I just can't. And then you're doing that, three, four times a week.
Yep.
Try for the fifth.
Yeah.
Tingy would have me on this one. The Wednesday nights, the
Yeah.
no-gears I would love to get to. I physically can't.
Yeah.
So that would be the fifth or sixth session a week. And that's, is that enough? Probably not. Not for jits, not enough strength work either.
Yeah.
But when we were doing track and field, we were doing it twice a week.
Yeah.
And this was with a coach who didn't like strength training.
Yeah.
So that was very hard to put in. And this is when we were, late teens, early 20s. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
The coaches we had didn't really know what they were doing. And you knew that.
Yeah.
We have to trust you. We have no other way of doing it. But
Yeah.
that didn't quite work out.
No.
Hamstring still ripped. So multiple times.
Wow.
That was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But yeah, deadlifts were fun.
Yeah.
A whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love that that's your idea of fun.
it's different because you want to do your deads because they're great for the hamstrings and glutes. Funnily enough, the hamstrings didn't want to cope with the running side of things.
Yeah.
But they were fun because you'd lead into the cleans and the Olympic lifts.
Yeah.
So that was, I suppose, if you can lift a heavier deadlift, then theory is you can lift a heavier clean.
Yeah.
That's nice work.
Deadlifts, you know how everyone has their exercise that they just really struggle with? So squats for me are fine. Deadlifts, I hate it. I hate it, but it's like eating my broccoli. I just make myself do it.
And the hip thrusts come into the deadlifts.
Oh, yeah, also hate.
Love those ones.
It just hurts so much. But yeah, and also my squat is always heavier than my deadlifts significantly. So I think my body's a little bit, just have a lazy posterior chain. I don't know.
Well, it's a bit of that.
Yeah.
A bit of depending on how you want to do the deadlift as well.
Yeah.
You'd know because we're both previous PTs.
Yeah, we were just chatting about that before.
We were.
Yeah.
And saying the good thing that we would have with any strength and conditioning coach, we would know what's good and what's bad. And we can go from experience as well, this what works, what doesn't work, which is where Steve fits in that category because he's really, really good.
Yeah, really good.
You can see his Instagram page, it's filled with athletes. And you go, well, he must be doing the right thing.
Yeah. I think it's also when you've trained for a while, it's a like mind-body connection that you develop. So you can sort of see when someone gives you a cue, like, put your weight back into your heels, you can sort of do that and you can feel that your hamstrings are activated or they're not. So kind of good because, at least you're doing the exercise. Probably kind of bad because everything hurts way more. So I think as well too, that's another, area where Steve's really good. He's takes time to make sure you're doing all your reps correctly and properly. And I think that for performance athletes is the key. It's the big thing. Yeah. And I think especially when you think about a lot of it for me is about injury prevention. So it's that's the main reason I like developing strength, but also allow me to do jiu-jitsu 6 days a week, please. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I know. So I think that's where it's it's good.
So how do you fit your recovery in? Do you do much recovery, stretching, pool sessions, cryotherapy?
I'm really bad with recovery. I'm going to be honest. I am. I'm pretty bad. I do. I've done the recovery boots thing because Steve put me in them. The the boot things.
Yeah.
But I do my thing, and I know there's not a huge amount of evidence, but for me, I just find it really works. I do a lot of ice baths. So when I'm training a lot,
I can't do those.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Hated them so much.
It is savage, but I really find that works, and I like it because massages, if you're training a lot, are really hard to fit in because you can't train directly after them. So ice baths are good because you can have an ice bath and go straight to the gym and you feel so much better. So yeah, ice baths are my thing when I'm training a lot. I try and fit in. I've gone through periods where I'm doing it every day, and then other times where I'm trying to fit it in 3 times a week. And also it's cheap. It's $4 for a bag of ice. There you go.
You can, and then you start getting 2-3 bags.
It adds up. It spirals.
Then you're training 12 times a week. That's a lot of ice.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And you can't reuse them.
No, you cannot. But it's still probably cheaper than a massage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Imagine if you could do both.
It'd be fantastic. Oh, I'd still not do the ice bath.
Yeah, no.
I started doing the warm bath with sea salts.
Yeah, Epsom salt baths.
The other, fantastic.
So good.
I could never tell if I was any better after an ice bath or a warm bath with sea salts. I couldn't tell the difference.
I'd go hot cold. So I'll do ice bath for 2 minutes with a timer, then jump into a burning hot shower.
30 seconds for a minute.
Yeah.
And then back in.
Then back in. Do 8 rounds. 6 to 8 depending. I have to sort of build myself up. It's really hard in winter. It's really hard. But I notice I love hot baths because it's so nice and so relaxing and you sleep well. But I just, my experience with it just hasn't been as effective as ice baths, which is annoying because they're brutal and they really hurt. It's so hard. But yeah, I find that's my kind of recovery.
That's your thing.
Go to if I'm cooked. That's what I do. Yeah.
So besides the actual recovery, how do you recover between sessions? What do you do in between your 2-a-day or your 3-day for your strength and conditioning?
Yeah. For me, like if I can stretch a little bit, I find that helps me get my body ready to sort of move again. Or I give myself like longer warm-ups. I feel like that really helps me in between sessions. So my first session of the day, I can have a short warm-up and I feel really good. But then towards the end, it's like the more tired I get, the longer I have to sort of like warm my body up. I've sort of like learned that. And sometimes I will have an ice bath in between or I meditate and that helps a lot.